Welcome to our channel. In the heart of a vast green forest, there was a young elephant named Ramu. Unlike other elephants, Ramu had an insatiable curiosity. While his friends enjoyed playing and splashing in the river, Ramu often wandered off into the woods, seeking new things to discover. One bright morning, as Ramu was walking along the riverbank, he noticed something small and shiny on the ground. It was a seed, different from anything he had seen before. It glistened in the sunlight, almost as though it had a secret to tell. What could this be? Ramu wondered, bending down with his trunk to examine it. He looked around, but there was no one nearby to ask. In the distance, a group of monkeys chattered, clearly watching him. They had seen him wander alone many times, always finding something curious to explore. "What's that you're holding, Ramu?" one of the monkeys called out. "It's a seed," Ramu replied, turning it over in his trunk. The monkeys laughed. "What will you do with a tiny seed like that? It's just a little thing. It will never grow into anything important." But Ramu wasn't bothered by their laughter. He knew that every great tree, every towering mountain, and every vast river had once started as something small. He decided to plant the seed right where he stood, beneath the shade of an old banyan tree. The other animals watched in confusion. "Why plant such a small thing?" they asked. "It's not worth the effort." But Ramu remained silent, focused on the seed. He dug a small hole in the ground, placed the seed gently inside, and covered it with dirt. Every day he returned to water it, ensuring the soil stayed moist and the little plant had enough sunlight. As the days went by, the other animals began to mock him. "Look at Ramu, watering a tiny plant that will never grow into anything big," the rabbits would giggle. Even the wise old owl shook his head. "It's just a waste of time, Ramu. You should focus on things that are actually useful." But Ramu ignored them all. Every morning he would check on his plant, and every evening he would water it. Slowly the tiny seed began to sprout. At first it was just a tiny sapling, no taller than Ramu's leg. The animals were not impressed. Months passed, and Ramu's sapling grew a little taller, but it was still much smaller than the other trees in the forest. The animals continued their usual routines, paying little attention to the young elephant's plant, but Ramu kept nurturing it with love, patience, and care. One day, the season changed and dark clouds filled the sky. A fierce storm swept through the forest. The wind howled and the rain poured down in torrents. The larger trees, which had stood for centuries, bent and cracked under the pressure of the storm. Many of them fell to the ground with a loud crash. The animals ran in panic, searching for shelter. The rabbits scurried into their burrows, the birds flew to the highest branches, and the monkeys clung tightly to their trees. But when the storm reached Ramu's young tree, something surprising happened. The strong, deep roots of the tree, nurtured by Ramu's care, held the soil firmly in place. The thick trunk stood strong against the wind, and the wide branches shielded the ground beneath it. As the storm raged on, other animals sought shelter under Ramu's tree. The tree, though young, had grown sturdy enough to protect everyone. The animals were amazed. "How did this little tree survive the storm when all the old, strong trees fell?" they whispered. Ramu smiled and nodded. "The storm didn't break my tree, because it grew with care and patience. Sometimes, things that seem small or insignificant at first can grow to become strong and mighty." The animals, who had once mocked Ramu, now understood the lesson. They gathered around the tree, grateful for the protection it offered. "You were right, Ramu," said the owl. "We judged it too soon. You believed in something small and nurtured it. It has become stronger than we ever imagined." Ramu looked at the tree and said, "It's not about the size of something at the beginning. It's about the patience and care you put into it, even when others can't see its potential." This story teaches us, don't judge something by its size or current state. With patience, care, and belief, even the smallest thing can grow into something extraordinary. Thanks for watching. Please do like, share, and subscribe our channel for more interesting and captivating stories.